last call where we drink and we talk about things. Clink me! Clink me!
Clink.
This is a thing we do.
I made cocktails and I put too much whiskey in. Oops.
Oh, we gonna get crunk.
Is there such a thing?
What, too much whiskey? I personally don't like whiskey a whole lot, but I can't taste it, so it's... What does that make me racist?
You're racist against Irish people.
I married an Irishman!
Exactly.
So, yeah, we're gonna talk about the new UA, because that's topical.
Among other things.
Yeah, we're gonna hit,
this is part 2 in our rules series.
Welcome. This is the talk show where there is no format. There's kind of
part
a format.
2 of 1.
Part 2 of 1.
I don't know how much more we're gonna get after.
I think there's gonna be a part 3. That's probably about it.
I want to talk about building a character.
Aren't we covering that today?
I don't think we'll get there.
Okay, cool. I mean, if there's stuff that we have that you don't think we'll get to, then there's definitely going to be an episode 3. Also, I never properly aimed my camera. I should probably do that.
Fuck it. Control off your stairway.
I mean, yeah. Anyway.
I have a multi-level home. It means fuck all in this area. Throws out the rule book. No, there's always rule books. All right, so new UA. I don't even know where we want to start with the new UA. Do you want to start with feats, or do you want to talk about?
Well, I think what we can do is we can just start by talking about ASIs just sort of broadly.
Okay.
So what's an ASI?
Pretend I asked that.
Okay. So I was kind of asking Mike, but
I was waiting for Steph to answer.
What's an ASI, Mike?
There you go.
You're the guest.
An ability score improvement.
What does it mean for the game?
I thought it was increase.
What does it mean for your character? What does it mean in game?
It might mean increase.
Yeah.
So the ability score improvement, whatever the fuck it actually is, the ability score is gotten every 4-ish levels.
Yeah.
More for fighters and rogues, where you can either increase 1 score by 2 or 2 scores by 1. Alternatively, instead of improving your ability scores, you can take a feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's in a nutshell. So essentially, the role of ability score improvements.
How many frames are we dropping?
27% of the last 2 minutes.
Oh.
Not a whole lot I can do about it.
All right. Bear with us. Maybe I'll improve, guys.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a particularly video-heavy stream anyway. As long as you can hear my beautiful voice, you're good.
On the video's gotta be.
Get the sparklers.
The sparklers, yeah, that'll eat our bandwidth real quick. Or our bit rate. That'll eat our bit rate.
Yeah. Audio's perfect. Cool. All right.
Let me throw some snow effects on it.
Everyone stay still.
Get that Tom Scott video.
Throw up a static overlay behind us.
Yep. So
TV static, not moving static.
No, I know. Thanks. God damn it.
We're in rare form tonight. Shit.
Yeah, Jesus. I'm not drunk enough for this.
Yeah, shit.
So the point of an ability score improvement is essentially to reflect your character just becoming more powerful as a person, and not necessarily in ways that are just combat related. Wow, that sounded absolutely heinous. But welcome to the Gilded Troll, Fitz Chivalry 11. It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you. We've known that asshole for how?
4 months, apparently.
That's it? No. No, I don't think that's right.
So yeah,
that's just as long as he's been giving us money.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. Yeah, that did echo through water. So that's one of the downsides of having the TV not on. Because the speaker on that thing is trash.
I'm telling you, we need a great big swinging mount for the TV.
I told you that. Anyway, so ability score improvements are there to essentially just be you can get better at essentially everything over the course of your character's career.
You get smarter.
For every class, you get an ability score improvement at levels 4, 8, 12, 16, and 19. Rogues get a bonus ability score improvement at level 10. Fighters get a bonus ability score improvement at levels 6 and 14. So fighters get a total of 7, rogues get a total of 6, every other class gets 4. If you multi-class, it gets fucky. Mm-hmm. Unless you only do a 1-level dip, and then you end up with 5 anyway. Or you do a 4-level dip, and you end up with 5 anyway. Whatever.
Barbarian's getting 9.
Barbarians get 9, sort of, because their level 20 feature is +4 strength and +4 constitution.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So feats are essentially, I don't want to just sort of get good at everything a little bit more. I want to be really good at one thing, and either that's one thing that you're already good at and you're getting better at it, such as Heavy Armor Master makes you just better at wearing heavy armor. You're better at deflecting damage when you're wearing heavy armor. Or it's just something completely new that you weren't able to do before at all, such as a fighter picking up the Magic Initiate feat, which gives you a first level spell and I think 2 cantrips.
I think it's 2. Yeah.
So the main issue that a lot of groups see with feats is that in order to stay competitive with the other players at the table, you kind of have to sort of agree, is everyone taking an ASI at level 4 or is everyone taking a feat? Because if you have a +5 to hit and everyone else has a +6 to hit, you're going to feel bad when you miss the enemy's AC by 1. You're going to feel real bad.
Unless there are reasons why you would do something else.
Yes. It's not an ultimate, like, be all end all problem.
Yeah.
But it's a problem. And the end result of that problem is most people don't end up taking feats. And there's actually data on this. Most people do not take feats until their 3rd ASI. Because at level 1, you have a 16 or a 17 in your main stat. Level 4, you bump your main stat by 2. Level 8, you bump your main stat again. And then at level 12, you can finally take an ASI. Or if you're a fighter, level 8, because your 2nd ASI was at 6.
Did they really poll people for that?
No, they just looked at all of the millions of characters on D&D Beyond.
They're looking at my character?
Yeah, because D&D Beyond has access to all of that data.
Yeah.
So they just looked at all of these millions of characters, and most characters below level 12 don't have any feats.
It's really important to...
It's very important to max out your main
level.
stat.
Right.
It's super important to max out your main stat because there's so much that hinges on it.
How'd you
Not
solve
just-
that problem, Ian?
How did I solve that problem? That's a good question. So I use a house rule that we call ASI and feat. So whereas normally when you get an ability score improvement, you get an ASI or a feat, I do both. You get to put 2 ability scores up by 1 or 1 ability score up by 2, and you get a feat.
Does that create balancing problems?
It does. So there are feats that are called half feats. They're just sort of affectionately dubbed half feats. That's not an official name for them. That essentially do less than a full feat would, and also give you a bonus to 1 ability score. So it increases one of your ability scores by 1, and it gives you some feat stuff. So that's why it's called a half feat. So if you were to just allow ASI and feat with no other rules, then what could happen is a player point buys their main stat to 15. They pick a race that gets a +2 to that, so they have 17 at level 1. And then at level 4, I was going to say 14. At level 4, they bump their main stat by 2, and they pick a half feat that bumps their main stat. So they have 20 in their main stat at level 4. And that puts them ahead of most other people who didn't do all of those optimizations. It's literally 4 choices in the first 4 levels. Actually, there's 2 choices at level 1 and 2 choices at level 4 that put you at optimum. And if anyone else in your party didn't make those same choices, they fall behind.
They're behind, yeah.
So the way I fix it is you are not allowed to have a 20 until your second, in any ability score, until your 2nd ASI. Whether that's level 6 for a fighter or 8 for anyone else.
Okay.
And there was also, so when I ran this in New Cerulean Sagas, I also actually gave a bonus feat at level 1. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
And I had to additionally put in the rule that no one's allowed to have an 18 or higher in any stat at level 1. Because otherwise you could do the same thing I just said, but take a half feat in your main stat at level 1. Which would give you a +4 and 18.
Why'd you allow an additional feat to begin with?
I think it was mostly because there were 3 players, and I wanted to give you additional power so that it wasn't quite so hard for me to balance it.
Right. That makes sense.
But a lesson that I have since learned is that balancing the campaign against the players is hilariously trivial. Like, stupid trivial. If there's fewer players, put fewer enemies. If there's more players, put more or bigger enemies. If the players happen to just be really good at building characters, put bigger enemies. Put smarter enemies. Like, I can always make the game harder. Always.
Except we rarely find ourselves in a situation as players where it's, like, near death.
That's because I continuously underestimate everybody.
Fair.
Fair.
So have you found that feat and ASI thing is disproportionately more useful for fighters than other classes because of their 2 extra feats?
I actually have not yet had a fighter in a campaign where I used the rule.
No, you haven't.
So I think Snurk might be our first.
Snurk.
He's our samurai fighter in our Curse of Strahd game. You can watch us play Curse of Strahd on Sundays at 1 p.m.
He's a little frog boy.
He a little grung samurai.
He already died once. Spoilers.
He did die.
Way to go, frog boy.
Yeah.
That's for Wadumu.
Not to be confused with Snurk. Scorpius is Snaky Boy.
Gotta have reptiles in every campaign.
The fuck?
Oh, what did Tim say earlier that I missed? If you roll, you're more likely to feat, point by, or array UASI.
Yeah. So that's a whole topic when we get to character creation.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
We won't get there yet. Yeah.
All right, so we talked about feats.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about the meta magic thing in the UA.
The meta magic feat in. Yeah, let me bring up the feats
with
UA.
our
right
meta magic for all rule, because
so what are we
Mike
talking
actually
about?
brought it up in our private Discord so we could like come up with questions and stuff, and they actually like it's not as easy as just don't allow it with meta magic for all.
I'm having a hard time finding the UA. I just googled feats UA and I'm getting the last 2 times they did it.
You want to pull it up so you can read it verbatim?
Got it. Well, I would like to refer to it at some point. So what are we talking about? So earlier this week, was it earlier this week or was it last week? I don't know. In the last 7 days, Wizard
material.
Yeah, basically. Really. It's quarantine. It's like today is the same day as March 18th.
It's drinking time.
Wizards released another UA, which is an Unearthed Arcana, essentially playtest material, which included 16 feats sometime in the past 7 days. One of those feats is called Metamagic Adept. I'm just going to read out the text and then we can discuss it.
Yeah.
So the prerequisite, and this is actually controversial apparently, is that you need to have the spellcasting or pact. No, sorry, I'm thinking about a different feat. Never mind, this is not controversial.
Spellcasting or pact.
You need to have spellcasting or pact magic.
Yeah.
This feat does nothing unless you have one of those. So there's a different feat that has the same prereq that is controversial.
Oh.
I got confused.
Okay.
So it gives you 2 benefits. Number 1, you learn 2 metamagic options of your choice from the sorcerer class. You can use only 1 metamagic option on a spell when you cast it unless the option says otherwise. Whenever you gain a level, you can replace one of your metamagic options with another one from the sorcerer class. And the second benefit is you gain 2 sorcery points to spend on metamagic. These points are added to any sorcery points you have from another source, but can be used only on metamagic. You regain all spent sorcery points when you finish a long rest. So it's essentially baby's first metamagic for anyone who isn't a sorcerer. It is kind of stupid broken for variant humans because metamagic, like it
aren't a lot of things for variant humans.
Kind of, yeah. So one of the things the first thing that really jumps out at me is, hey, you can have someone else's class feature in a limited way. But when Sorcerer doesn't get it until level 3, and a variant human can have it at level 1, that feels bad, especially if you're a sorcerer in a party with some variant human who just has your fucking metamagic from level 1.
Right.
That feels bad. But what Steph was talking about is we use a house rule called Metamagic for All, where everyone knows every metamagic. And sorcerers are the only ones that have sorcery points from their class. Mm-hmm. Everyone else has to burn their spell slots to get sorcery points. And then additionally, whenever a sorcerer would learn a metamagic option, instead they pick an option and reduce its cost by 1 to a minimum of 0. Permanently. Like that, like,
yep.
If you pick subtle, you can subtle every spell. You still can't combine meta magics, so you can't subtle, heighten, quickened. That would be busted as shit. And awesome. But busted as shit. So the question is, how does this feat interact with Meta Magic for All?
Meta Magic for All was, you implemented it so it could feel better because this feat didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
You actually said outright, I just wouldn't allow this feat.
And then Mike started arguing with me,
Yeah.
and then we realized, okay, maybe we should actually have this discussion.
Yeah, so Mike, how do you think it could work or balance both of them?
Well, under the wording of Magic for All, when you would learn a meta magic, reduce the cost. So this feat learns you to meta magic, reduce the cost. Simple as that. But probably crazy busted because Quicken Magic. Every single spell in the spell list for a single feat is now one action or one bonus action. That's crazy strong.
No, because Quicken costs 2.
Yeah.
So you reduce it by 1.
By 1,
to
it's
1.
still 1, it's not free.
So you learn 2. Could you not reduce it?
No. If you can't pick the same one twice at the same level. So sorcerers pick 2 meta magics at level 3. They have to be 2 different meta magics. They learn another one at 10. It can be the same as one of the ones they got at 3. And then they get another one at 17. It can be one of the ones they got at 3 or 10. But at Sorcerer 3, they have to pick 2 different meta magics.
You can, however, have infinite subtle, which is...
You can have infinite subtle. You can have infinite empowered.
Yeah.
And empowered is the only meta magic that's allowed to be combined with another meta magic. So you can have infinite subtle empowered. Every fireball you've ever cast just comes flying out of your face with you doing nothing about, like, you're not casting it. It just flies out of your face. And it blows up bigger than normal.
Sparky,
because you spent a feat.
Possibly bigger.
Possibly bigger.
So, you actually currently have a Sorcerer in Curse of Strahd.
Yes. She picked Subtle and Twinned.
Yes. Twinned is just...
Twinned is awesome.
So
Twinned and Subtle are the only 2 meta magics that let you do something that is otherwise entirely impossible.
Yeah.
Did I say Quickened and Twinned?
Twinned Banish.
You said Subtle and Twinned.
Okay. Quickened and Twinned are the only 2 spells that are the only 2 meta magics that let you do something that's otherwise impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Quicken spell is the only way to cast a fireball as a bonus action.
Yeah.
I mean, Subtle lets you cast things without components, so if you're bound and gagged, you opened up the entire spell list versus just
this is true.
3 spells that have no verbal or somatic
you don't
components.
even need to be bound, just gagged. Because, like, 99% of spells have a verbal component.
Yeah, there's like 13 spells or some shit that
Something
don't
like
have
that.
verbal components.
Many?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
If you want to cast, you start yelling.
Yeah, in so many different scenarios, you guys have captured an enemy spellcaster and gagged them.
And then we release the gag, and then they just disappear.
Well, I mean, yeah, that too. But
That's happened so many
like
times.
you know, you get an enemy spellcaster, you gag them, or you put them in a silence. Like you just cast silence on them, and then I'm just scouring their list of spells to find something they can cast.
Yeah.
And there's invariably nothing, because there's like 6 spells in the entire fucking game that don't have a verbal component.
Shit.
I think Mike is right, actually. I think it's somewhere in the teens. But yeah, so I don't... So the point of Meta Magic for All is to buff sorcerers. Because sorcerers are easily the shittiest full caster. The only thing that a sorcerer has that a wizard doesn't is meta magic.
What do you think is shittier, Mike?
I wouldn't say that they're the shittiest. I wouldn't say that any full caster is shitty. They're full casters. They're amazing.
They're full casters, so they're basically gods.
Yeah.
They're discount wizards, basically.
Yeah. They're discount wizards.
It's a lot easier. So introducing new players to sorcerer before wizard is like, for new players, like sorcerer, I feel like has a place too. I want to do magic-y things, but I don't want to be overwhelmed by every fucking spell.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. A wizard can do exactly the same thing as a sorcerer. So by level 20, a sorcerer knows 15 spells.
Yeah.
And by that same level 20, a wizard can prep 25 per day.
Yeah.
So if you want to not be confused by all of your options, just stop prepping spells when you get to 15 and ignore the rest of your spell book.
But then you know you're missing out on options, which is why I've never played a wizard.
So why would you play a sorcerer? And playing a sorcerer with that mindset is,
Yeah.
I don't want options, I just want to suck.
No, it's I don't want option. No, that's mean. That's mean, and you know it.
No, but like if that's actually the impetus for picking sorcerer over wizard is I want fewer spells, then you're deliberately gimping yourself so that it's easier to play.
I actually like the flavor of wizard that it's just innately in you and not
Sorcerer.
Something that you have to like,
wizard.
study for years.
I mean, yeah, the flavor's
That's
pretty cool, but there's no reason you can't play a wizard who just knows magic. You know, you don't have to roleplay years and years of study. And it, honestly, years and years of study kind of breaks the fuck down when you go from level 1 to 20 over the course of 6 months.
Well, now you're actively doing shit and not just researching or some bullshit.
Yeah, I'm busy trying not to die all of the time, and somehow that makes me better at magic.
Yeah, under pressure.
Oh,
it's like
fuck,
a diamond.
I figured out Fireball.
Right?
I'll write that down.
Yeah. You know, when I had my head in an Axebeak's mouth, just desperately holding it open, I had a really good idea.
No, it's like fucking in, what is it, Captain America, I think. Howard Stark is doing some experiment, and something blows up in his face.
Write that down.
Just write that down. That's a wizard.
Yeah. Work best under pressure.
Through
learning.
I want to say that was like very close to the end when he was working on the Tesseract.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. So, did I ask you, are you going to allow it? For AJ's character?
Sorry, I got really off track. The point of Meta Magic for All is to make sorcerers better.
Yeah.
And it kind of sort of makes other spellcasters a little bit better too. But predominantly it makes sorcerers better.
Yeah.
Which is a buff that I think the class desperately needed. Allowing the Metamagic Adept feat says, hey, you know how Sorcerer was really, really special?
Yeah.
We're going to give that specialness to everyone else, too.
How about if you just make so that if you're not a sorcerer, you can't make Metamagics free?
That's...
So minimum 1 point?
Yeah, so they
but
could...
not to 0.
So they could reduce the cost of... That's just Quicken and Twinned, isn't it?
Quicken, Twinned, Heightened.
Heightened. Okay, so there are options.
Yeah.
But...
Which one's heightened?
Heightened is one of your targets has disadvantage on its first save against this spell.
Oh, that's good.
It costs 3 points. Generally. And in fact, picking Heightened with this feat without that change makes it worthless.
Aren't affected? Subtle's not.
Okay, so you can't pick Careful because it's already cost 1. You can't pick Distant because it already costs 1. You can't pick Empowered. You can't pick Extended. You can't
Extended's
pick...
just range.
Yeah, you can't pick Subtle. Okay. That said, as a spellcaster, you already know all of these. Right. They all already cost 1 sorcery point for you.
Okay.
You just can't make them cost 0. I don't hate that.
That's actually, that's actually a decent idea.
Yeah, I like
so there is still a little bit of choice you need to make as far as which one you're cheapening. But then there's also the nice benefit of I don't have to burn spell slots to get sorcery points.
Yeah, I mean you get 2 a day essentially.
Yeah. That's more than the 0 they had before.
Yeah. So it isn't even choosing which ones you get; it's choosing which one not to get.
Sure.
Am I picking Subtle, or am I picking Twinned, Quickened, or Heightened to not reduce?
Twinned is so good.
Twinned is very good.
I want my twin polymorph T-Rexes back.
That was pretty legit.
Reducing the cost of Heightened would actually allow them to use the damn thing without burning their spell slots.
This is actually very true.
What sorcerer is AJ?
Shadow, in fact.
Ooh! AJ, why have we not talked about this?
That's the Shadow Puppy one.
Yeah.
And I didn't really do
Shadow
anything
Puppy
with the
is very
dog.
good.
Yeah. Is that why? Is it just not good?
What can you do with it? It unerringly follows its target and attacks it. There's no
Until it-
choices. It just goes.
It's repetitive heightened is the thing. If it's adjacent to an enemy, if it's adjacent to
poses
its target,
disadvantage.
they get disadvantage on saves
Yeah.
against your spells.
Right.
So it's permanent heightened, which is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
But like, there's no choices with it. You summon it, and then it just happens.
It just does, yeah.
I like the flavor of that, though. It's like, you have been summoned to destroy that thing, and that's the only fucking thing you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty
Oh yeah, it's cool as fuck. It's
Yeah.
cool.
It's also
as fuck.
flavorful as shit for Curse of Strahd.
cool.
Uh,
Yeah, that's neat.
Um,
Alright,
but yeah,
we're getting off topic.
Okay, so we covered one of the 16 feats in the UA. Go us.
I wanted to talk about the Warlock one, the
Okay.
invocation one.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So
What's that called? Eldritch Adept.
Yeah.
I've never played a proper Warlock, so invocations are.
I have...
To me, that seems like that's okay for Warlock. It's just another invocation that they get like 9 of. So like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And they're trading a feat for that. So
That's expensive.
Wait, what do you
Yeah,
do?
exactly.
You can choose...
And
You
then-
pick an invocation.
Okay.
And then for non-warlocks, they get access to like a third of the invocations because if they have any prerequisite, they can't take it.
Correct.
So
Oh.
I saw somebody in the Discord like splooging over that feat, and I'm like, is that actually good? Is it good?
I think the best choice for that feat is Devil's Sight. Devil's Sight has no prereq.
Yeah.
Putting Devil's Sight on anything other than a Warlock.
I can see through magical darkness.
Right.
No, not even that. Just fucking super dark vision for a feat. That's
Super
that's
dark
crazy
vision.
good.
Yeah.
Just super
Yeah.
dark vision.
That's
Dungeon crawling dark vision.
Yeah.
It seems weird to get an invocation before you get invocations.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
a bunch of these feats are very
Every
clearly
single one of these
designed.
feats should be fucking prerequisite level 3 or higher.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably say prerequisite level 4.
I mean, it's UA, so they're gonna get fucking abused,
Right,
and they're gonna
yeah.
learn from it,
Um,
and then...
Sure.
So this is the one that I was saying that the prerequisite is controversial. So the prerequisite of Eldritch Adept is the spellcasting or pack magic feature,
Yeah.
which seems a little fucky. Why do I have to be a spellcaster to get Devil's Sight?
Because it's a...
Studying occult lore, you have unlocked Eldritch power within yourself. You learn one Eldritch invocation option of your choice from the Warlock class. It's like
Maybe because
you just learned a little bit of shit about Cthulhu. Why do you have to be a wizard to do that?
Because you
Maybe
wouldn't have unlocked it
because-
otherwise?
Eh.
maybe because most of the invocations involve spellcasting, so
So-
they didn't want to.
So
Fucking
here's the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's the thing. So there are a lot of invocations that say you can cast this spell using a Warlock spell slot. All of those have a prerequisite of level 5 or higher. Since they have a prereq, you can't take them. Every other one is like, oh, you can cast detect magic at will.
I think that's the thing. You can cast. If you don't have spellcasting, you suddenly have spellcasting.
Yeah, that
maybe,
seems...
So
Like
There's
that's
gotta be a way to fucking abuse that. Is
There-
my
it's
there-
saying.
definitely flimsy reasoning, but I think
literally
that
all
would be,
they would have to do is so instead of having the prerequisite, put in the feat description, if the invocation grants you a spell,
Mhm.
your spellcasting ability modifier is charisma. Done. Fixed.
Yeah.
Fixed forever.
Hmm.
That
but my barbarian wants his spellcasting modifier to be strength.
sucks.
That'd be cool.
No, but seriously, like that's honestly the concern is being able to get a spell without a spellcasting ability.
Mm.
Every race handles it by assigning a spellcasting ability in the race. I don't see any reason the feat couldn't do it too. It's clearly a warlock feature that you're getting, so
yeah.
just make it charisma.
Yeah.
I would say it does not need the prerequisite, because how fucking cool would it be to be just a champion fighter with Devil's Sight? It's like, I studied some Cthulhu shit. You know, I got some badass
To
black
fight the
eyes.
fucking
I got
weird ass
tentacles for eyes.
monsters.
Yeah, I got tentacles for eyes.
Bayless, draw that.
Not eye stalks.
You're not here. He's not here.
Not eye stalks, just tentacles.
Bayless,
Alright,
please draw.
so we got through 2 of them.
Yeah. Is there any other ones that are like
That are like
super...
steal a class feature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like,
so
I like Chef.
Chef's kind of neat. But
I like
let's finish out the steal a class feature feats.
Alright, cool.
There's essentially like 3 or 4 broad groups of feats in here, and we're already working on this one. So.
Alright, got it.
Wasn't Chef just Goodberry?
Chef is...
It's temps instead of, like, actual HP.
Oh, right.
But it's cute as fuck.
Chef is Song of Rest
Yeah.
and
Song of Rest, yeah.
some temps.
Yeah. It's cute AF, yeah.
But, so Fighting Initiate is learn a fighting style.
I mean...
Cool.
Which by itself is whatever, but then that allows you to have multiple fighting styles? That's not normally a thing, is it?
So the only way to get multiple fighting styles is to multi-class, multiple classes to get fighting style. So if you're a fighter ranger or a fighter paladin, you would get a fighting style from each of those classes. You can't pick. It says if you get the fighting style feature more than once, you cannot pick the same option twice.
Okay, but you can have multiple. Got it.
Yeah,
right.
So you can have dueling defense. You can have defense protection.
I thought that you couldn't have more than one. All right.
Yeah. What's interesting is that it says that it's a fighting style option of your choice from the fighter class. If I recall correctly, I think there's a class that has a fighting style that fighter doesn't get.
Really?
I want to say
fighter doesn't get a fighting style,
yeah,
right? I want to say that there's a fighting style in Ranger that fighter doesn't get.
The Fighting Man?
Yeah. Ranger gets archery, defense, dueling, 2-weapon. Those all sound fightery.
Definitely.
Yeah. Archery, defense, dueling, 2-weapon. Yeah.
People are saying Paladin.
Paladin? Really?
Oh, maybe.
What's Paladin got? Paladin has defense, dueling, great weapon, protection. Defense, dueling, great... No.
D&D Beyond doesn't know that you can totally select archery twice.
Yeah, so Joey actually ran into that problem. He made a multi-classed fighter ranger and picked dueling twice, and it stacked it.
Wow.
And I was like, why the fuck is your static so high?
That's great. Holy shit.
Yeah, D&D Beyond just lets you do it. Yeah, it took a little while. Joey was like, oh, yeah, I picked dueling twice. I'm like, you can't do that. He's like, it let me.
D&D Beyond is broken sometimes, okay?
I mean, D&D Beyond lets you override your ability scores, so...
Yeah, but that's purposefully, like, knowingly overriding and like, oh, this is... Oh, I can...
Is it literally just Fighter, Ranger, Paladin that get fighting styles?
It must be.
I don't know.
Fighter has 6 of them, Ranger has 4, and Paladin has 4.
I've never played a fighter.
I played the magic classes.
Yeah. It's oddly refreshing to play
all three of them share defense and dueling, and then Ranger has archery and 2-weapon, and Paladin has great weapon and protection.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, sorry. Every single fighting style, all 6 of them are available to fighters. But it's essentially just, get a fighting style. Prerequisite, proficiency with a martial weapon.
We're dropping so much.
There's literally nothing I can do about that.
I know, it
Stop
sucks.
downloading porn, fuck.
But I need it! No, I'm kidding.
Steph, enough with your midget porn.
That goddamn joke.
That goddamn joke has been around for it must be at least 8 years now.
I don't know about that
Never
much.
going away.
No, it's gotta be that long.
Away.
I think he made the joke at Madison and it's stuck.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
So the other steal a class feature feat is Tracker, which is actually a half feat, and it's essentially learn Hunter's Mark. You can cast it once a day.
I mean, that's good.
Sorry, learn Hunter's Mark. You can cast it once a day for free,
Increase your
but also you know the spell.
Yeah.
And then you advantage on survival checks to track creatures.
That's really good in most settings.
It's all right. I think that's probably the weirdest feat ever.
Why?
So between Tracker, Shadow Touched, and Fey Touched, they're all really weird. So they're all half feats, and then they all give you a spell you can cast once a day. But then Shadow Touched and Fey Touched also give you another spell you can cast once a day, whereas Tracker gives you advantage on survival checks to track creatures. But that's a good segue into Shadow Touched and Fey Touched. So Shadow Touch gives you darkness, and Fey Touch gives you Misty Step. You can cast them once per day.
Misty Step's good.
Fey Touch also gives you a first level divination or enchantment spell that you can cast once a day. Shadow Touch gives you a first level illusion or necromancy spell that you can cast once a day.
Okay.
What's interesting about the Shadow Touch and Fey Touch feats is that you can essentially pick what your spellcasting ability is because it's a half feat. So if you improve intelligence with the feat, your spellcasting ability for those spells is int. If you pick wisdom, then your spellcasting ability is wisdom. If you pick charisma to increase, then your spellcasting ability is charisma.
Wasn't another thing with those feats is that you can cast those spells with your normal spell slots too?
Yes, you can.
And that's pretty new, I think.
Yeah, so that is something that's fair. So I think that technically exists with the Magic Initiate feat, but it's not spelled out. So Magic Initiate says you learn that spell and can cast it at its lowest level. Once you cast it, you must finish the long rest before you can cast it again using this feat. But that doesn't mean you can't cast it using your spell slots.
I don't think Misty Step or Darkness is inherently like casting it, being able to cast. No.
You learn the Misty Step spell.
Yeah.
You can also cast these spells, referring to both of the spells that you learned from the feat, using spell slots you have of the appropriate level.
Darkness is so good.
Darkness is pretty good. AJ's got to start casting that with her shadow magic.
Except no one can see through magical darkness.
Unless everyone picks up Eldritch Adept and learns Devil's Sight.
That's such a...
It begins.
It's actually not a waste at all.
It's
That's
not
like
a waste
the
at
ultimate
all.
Fucking strategy.
It's so good.
Yeah, no, if AJ spams Darkness all throughout level 3 and everyone goes, wow, Magical Darkness sucks to be in. We should all learn how to see in this.
Remind me how me, Mike, and Luke did it in Tomb of Annihilation.
You
So
were a
I
Shadow
cast
Sorcerer.
Darkness,
Mike
right?
and Luke were both Warlocks.
They're both warlocks, that's what it was. Alright. And then what? Just that invocation?
Yeah, they both
Yeah.
just took Devil's Sight.
Alright.
So Mike was a Coffee Lock. So 3 levels in Warlock and then
I
Sorcerer.
keep forgetting fucking Luke's character dipped in Warlock for whatever.
Well, no,
fucking
Luke was
reason.
just fucking Hexblade.
Oh, was he?
He had, I think he had 3 levels in Champion to get expanded crit range.
Yeah,
'Cause he was a
three-person
crit
party where everyone can see through darkness.
Yeah, Luke's character was 3 levels in Champion, Hexblade the rest of the way, Elven Accuracy, relying on Darkness for
Yeah.
permanent advantage.
I feel like that
Crit
was the
Fisher. He had like a
first time-
29% chance to crit each attack.
I feel like that was the first time we actually made each other work like a well-oiled machine in combat.
Yeah. And then Arlen
Which was
couldn't see in
cool as
darkness,
shit.
and it was just like, oh, shit.
I didn't really use it after that.
You really
'Cause it's
didn't.
like, because if she reckless, then it would cancel out, but then everything had advantage on
No,
her.
she literally couldn't even reckless because if you were in magical darkness and the enemy couldn't see through it, she had advantage and disadvantage. That's a topic for another day. Symmetrical
What?
blindness. I told you to write that down. I don't know if you ever did.
I don't know where that would go. Oh, that's under like melee.
Yeah,
sort of rules.
but you have that?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
You can write it down. You
but
put
anyway,
like fucking 5 ounces of alcohol in here. I'm
that's
fucked.
3 1/4.
I can't
Sorry,
think
3
straight.
3/4.
All right. Anyway, what
so-
else is in there?
So since I was talking about Magic Initiate, that
Yeah.
brings me to Artificer Initiate. The feat is literally Magic Initiate, but you can pick Artificer this time.
I mean, they're really proud of Artificer.
Sounds like
They're
that
just
should-
inserting themselves, you know.
Yeah.
Which
That
they
sounds
should.
like that should have just been errata for Magic Initiate. but-
Kinda.
Yeah.
So Artificer Initiate also says you gain proficiency with one type of Artisan's tools of your choice, and you can use that type of tool as a spellcasting focus for any spell you cast that uses int as its spellcasting ability. But it is literally learn a cantrip from the Artificer spell list. So you trade a cantrip for an Artisan's tool.
So trading a cantrip for turning your wrench into a magic wand.
Yep. Throw back to Nixie.
I don't know if it's a good trade.
Did you actually know that Nixie had a wrench as her spellcasting focus?
It was in the yard.
But that's
like the wrench
the
was.
mechanics tool.
Right?
So Nixie
so
was
yeah.
just Winfrey, but shorter.
Winry.
Winry, shit.
You combine Winry and
What the-
Renfrey.
Yeah, my bad. We just
What
watched
the fuck,
fucking
Steph?
Witcher, alright?
So yeah, you get a cantrip and a first level spell
Go finish Full Metal Alchemist, Steph.
from the
I really
Artificer
don't feel like
spell list.
crying again. Ever.
Too bad, do it.
Well, let's just skip to episode 6 for the love of God.
Is it episode 6? Oh no, it's episode 3.
I think it's
in
literally episode 3 in Brotherhood.
Yeah. I don't like my heart
Is that
being
the one
ripped
with
out.
Nina?
Yeah.
Word.
No, don't you fucking dare. I'll start
Anyway,
crying on the spot.
We're moving on. So there's 3 feats that I call the melee weapon feats. So there's Crusher, Piercer, and Slasher. Slasher's the coolest fucking name.
Crusher's just...
The Crusher!
Thank you. That's all I think about whenever I hear it from Looney
so
Tunes.
so each of them is
without reading these feats, are they boosting bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage?
They are indeed.
Damage
yes.
types.
So each of them is a half feat, and then they each have 2 unique effects for bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing weapons, respectively. 1 on a hit once per turn, and 1 on a crit. So Crusher allows you to move a creature 5 feet when you hit them once per turn, as long as they're no more than 1 size larger than you. And when you crit them, attacks against that creature are made with advantage until the end of your next turn.
Cool.
Piercer allows you to re-roll your damage dice once per turn.
Wait, is that with everyone else or just you?
What?
Crusher.
Everyone. Attack rolls
Dude.
against that creature.
That's cool as
Yeah.
shit.
So Piercer allows you to re-roll 1 attack's damage dice per turn. And also when you crit, you deal an additional die of damage.
Okay.
Underwhelming in my opinion. Yeah. And then Slasher allows you to reduce their speed by 10 feet once per turn. It's just, here, make all of your melee attacks Ray of Frost. And then if you crit them, they have disadvantage on all attack rolls until the start of your next turn.
I feel like that's flavored for you slashed off like their legs or vital arteries or something.
No, you're hamstringing them.
Oh, is that what
Definitely hamstring.
Or Achilles.
No, it's a hamstring.
That's actually... I appreciate flavor.
Yeah, you're hamstringing. It's fine. And then when you crit them, they have disadvantage on attack rolls, which is a little weird.
Crusher's great.
Crusher's cool as shit.
Jesus.
And advantage on attack rolls, especially in our campaigns where we have nat 20s, so you can choose when to use it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, let me just make my first attack of the turn a nat 20, and then we just get advantage on the rest of them. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna get Elven Accuracy. There's no finesse bludgeoning though, and you can't Elven Accuracy on a strength attack.
What the fuck would finesse bludgeoning even be?
Sap, in fact.
What?
A sap.
What's a sap?
Also known as a blackjack.
Oh, it's got like the ball.
Essentially,
leather?
think.
That thing?
Huh? A what?
I don't know.
A sap or a blackjack is.
Think of a coin purse with a brick in it.
More like think of a sock with an orange in it. A sock with an orange in it.
Quarters.
Or quarters, yeah.
Alright.
Put a roll of quarters in the sock, and that's a sap.
Okay.
You hit people on the head with it, but, like you spin it and whap, and you knock them the fuck out.
Jesus.
And that's a thing.
Sock with a lock in it.
Sock with a lock. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But yeah, that would be a finesse bludgeoning weapon.
This would be a fucking heavy duty goddamn lock. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those like big ass master locks.
AKA a prison
exactly.
weapon. Yep, prison weapon.
Shit, what?
Oh, what was the other thing I wanted to... there's something else in the UI.
Paper mache dagger and toilet paper.
Toilet paper is a rare commodity. Not so much anymore. Gunner. What's Gunner?
Gunner. You learn guns.
Is that it?
You learn guns, and it's also sort of crossbow expert. You ignore the loading property, and you don't get disadvantage at close range.
I know I played Avernus, and I know I played an Artificer, but I think guns are stupid in D&D. Unpopular opinion.
I don't think that that's an unpopular opinion. I think that you've stated it. Actually, no, that's definitely an unpopular opinion because of Critical Role.
Yeah.
I think that the way that they're handled is kind of dumb. Like, they should just be another ranged weapon with their own kind of, unique-ish properties, but still just a normal fucking ranged weapon. Why do you need all this weird fucking loading bullshit?
And misfire.
Reload,
like,
misfire, yeah. I mean, that's Critical Role, to be fair. That's Critical Role rules. That's not DMG
it wasn't
rules.
fun.
Yeah. Misfire is not in the DMG.
Misfire is not fun.
Misfire sucks.
Like, critically missing on something is one thing, but when your range is from 1 to 3...
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I have to spend my next action fucking cleaning out my gun before I can fire again.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, I felt bad for Sean during our Tyranny speedrun because his gun jammed just so fucking often.
It's, yeah.
Fucking Forgotten Realms need to make some fucking AKs. Those never jam.
Yeah.
AKs never jam.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know shit about guns.
Yeah. I think there's like 3 AK-47s per Russian citizen or something like that.
What the f?
Yeah, they made a lot of them.
Hey, man.
Holy shit, what a fact.
Vodka
Oh
and
my God.
Kalashnikovs.
Yep.
What more do you need from Russia?
So there's Gunner. So beyond that, there's a bunch of feats that are essentially like, let me get really good at a tool. So there's Chef,
Yeah.
which essentially gives you Song of Rest, which I feel kind of steps on Bard's toes a little bit.
But Bard steps on everybody's toes, so who
Right.
cares?
This is true.
If every spell is a bard spell, I want Chef.
There's Poisoner, which makes you just a little bit better at, actually makes poisons fucking usable.
Oh, really?
Because having to spend an action to poison your weapon means you're spending 2 fucking turns.
What does it make it?
Huh? It makes it a
True
bonus
strike?
action.
Bonus action.
Yeah, it makes it True Strike, essentially. It also gives you proficiency with Poisoner's Kit, and then you can make poisons.
Can you think of a time where anyone has ever used a poisoner's kit?
No.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
How about an herbalism kit? Like all those kits.
Yeah,
I
no.
have used herbalism
Yeah, yeah.
kits.
Um,
Probably not well.
Practiced Expert
Oh, it
essentially says, hey, you remember that Prodigy feat that no one ever takes because it sucks? How about we just give it to everyone and make it a half feat?
Which one?
Practiced Expert.
Practice expert.
So Prodigy is a human or half-human feat from Xanathar's that gives you a skill proficiency, a tool proficiency, a language, and then allows you to put expertise in any one thing you're proficient in.
Poisoner's kit got an errata, by the way. Apparently.
Poisoner's Kit
Yeah.
got errated?
I'm kind of curious. Shadows, explain.
It used to poison it. Wait. Shadows explain, probably not. That was just timing.
Immediate response, probably not.
Bayless asks, will Poisoner benefit me as a Grung Rogue? Because he can literally just wipe his weapon across his skin
Yeah.
and poison it as part of the attack.
Can you lick your weapon? Can you
Gross.
just flavorfully, like, just every time you want to poison someone?
No,
like, lick the
it's a
blade?
katana. He just wipes it across his forearm.
I think it's
It's like that's how you-
He's got
that's how
frog
you
tongue.
clean a
He's got
katana.
frog
So
tongue.
you just wipe it on your fucking sleeve.
Oh.
Sheath it in his mouth.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm taking the sword swallower background. It's
yeah.
like Entertainer.
I mean, he does actually have the Entertainer background.
Oh, dude!
There you go.
Perfect!
He's a whistleblower.
Except he can't play anymore. Dark powers.
Poisoner feat got errata. Oh, Poisoner feat did get errata to specify poison damage. Because as originally released, it said the creature must succeed on a DC 14 Constitution saving throw or take 2d8 damage and become poisoned. 2d8 what damage? There's no such thing as untyped damage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every damage has a type.
Yeah.
It is now. It is the first instance of untyped damage.
Bayless
Completely
said-
unresistible.
Bayless said I wanted to use my tongue, but he said ew.
What?
So you fucked up.
Since when?
He
Eat
wanted
it,
to lick
Dick.
his weapon.
This is probably the same bullshit where he's saying I didn't let him be a null. Fuck off.
Oh, yeah. Ian was on the phone
Oh
with Bayless.
God.
And Bayless
I was like, I'll homebrew you
Yeah,
a
I
null,
wanna
and he's
be a
like,
null.
no, don't bother. And then
I
ever
don't wanna
since
make
then,
more
he's
work for
like,
you.
Ian wouldn't let me play a null.
Fucking prick.
Um,
Bayless may or may not be streaming after this stream, so we may raid him. Bayless, get your shit together. So we can raid
So
you.
there's 2 more feats. So shield training, which is kind of weird. It gives you proficiency with shields, which is a little weird. The only other way to get proficiency with shields with a feat is the moderately armored feat, which gives you medium armor proficiency and shield proficiency, and it's
Yeah.
also a half feat. Shield training does something very unique, though, in that it allows you to don or doff a shield as an interaction.
Not a action?
Not an action.
Ooh,
Yeah, an interaction.
that's worth a feat.
So
That's big.
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me just throw my shield off and two-hand this motherfucker.
That's such a problem. That's actually really good.
Yeah,
That's
right?
a really good
That's-
use of a feat.
Right.
Yeah.
That's problematic actually, because you could get, aside from opportunity attacks, you could benefit from a shield while using a two-handed weapon.
How?
Start your turn shielded. Wait,
Yeah.
no, never mind. You only get one interaction.
You only get one interaction.
Every
Yeah.
every other turn.
Every other turn,
Still.
yeah. But I mean, you can do that essentially with a ranged weapon too. Like if you're willing to have the benefits of a two-handed weapon, like every other turn, like you can do some fucky shit. Or like loading a hand crossbow every other turn. Or you can continuously load your hand crossbow by dropping your melee weapon and then loading your hand crossbow, and then on your next turn you fire the hand crossbow, load it, pick up your melee weapon, and attack with it. So like doing that every other turn shit is, that's always been in the game, and it's stupid and fucky, and
I think it gives you
like kick
more
your sword away.
options. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I think it gives you way more options as any sort of melee class in general. Because, like, if you think about, like, feats like Tavern Brawler, where you can have improvised weapons and shit, it's like, it sounds a lot cooler when you can, like, pick up or get rid of a shield as an interaction and just, like, pick something else up and just really wail into something.
Yeah.
There's not enough flavor in combat for me. So anything that can
I try really hard to, like, describe the way things are happening in more than just, oh, you hit them and this is what the damage deals to them. Like, I try to describe, like, your character's doing cool shit.
But even options as a player, though, that gives you more options as a player.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate when you flavor combat. But, like, if I'm good at fighting, I want to be,
Yeah. But then the fourth benefit of shield training is that if you have the spellcasting or pack magic feature, you can use a shield as a spellcasting focus.
That's neat.
That's cool as shit.
That is cool.
So what that does essentially is that fixes...
So Gargoth.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
I mean, yeah. What that does is it fixes the problem with a lot of Gish builds, where you have a sword and a shield and you want to cast spells, and even if your sword is a spellcasting focus, you still literally cannot... Well, no, it actually doesn't fix that problem. You still need the Warcaster feat to fix that problem. So the issue is that if you have a spell that has somatic and material components, you can use your spellcasting focus. Oh, okay. What this does, it doesn't fix Gish builds. It fixes pure spellcasters who have focus and shield. So the problem with those spellcasters is that if a spell is somatic material, you can use your wand or whatever to perform both. That's just a rule. But if a spell has somatic but no material, you can't use your wand for it. You need an open hand.
That's weird.
Right? So I literally just ignore that rule because it's like, I drop my wand, I cast the spell, and I pick it up.
Oh, hey, another house rule.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
It's not even that I house rule, I literally just ignore it. Like, if a player ever brought it up, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, that's technically the rule. But, like, I don't pay attention to that rule. It's not that I've said, this is not a rule I use, I just don't pay attention to it.
Right.
But if you have the shield training feat, you can use your shield as your focus, so you just shield, open hand. So if you have somatic material, boom, shield. If you have just somatic.
So it took us an hour to go through the UI.
There's one more. Tandem Tactician.
I missed one!
Tandem Tactician, I think, is the most powerful feat in here. So, help.
Devil's Sight, though.
Devil's Sight.
So, help, by default, the help action costs an action, and then you grant one of your allies advantage on an attack roll against one enemy who is within 5 feet of you. That's what the help action does.
Strike, but you don't have to fucking learn it.
Right. And you don't have to concentrate on it.
That is really busted.
Jesus Christ.
That's super busted.
Tandem Tactician turns it, number 1, into a bonus action. Number 2, increases the range to 15 feet. And number 3, doubles it. You give advantage to 2 allies. It makes the help action usable.
There's no
Wait, hang on. Help is...
What?
You pick an enemy target and an ally, or just an enemy target?
You pick an enemy target within 5 feet of you, and an ally.
Okay. So it's just a blank. The next thing to hit this guy is advantage.
It is not. It is
Okay.
that guy gets advantage on his next attack against this dude, who is right next to me.
Okay. Right. Okay. So wow, yeah, that's crazy strong, and
That's really
fucking
good.
bonus action on top of that. That's crazy strong. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
and there are a lot of classes that are just sitting on their bonus actions.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rogue, probably doesn't want to be a tandem tactician. They're using their bonus action. Barbarian, depending on their subclass, probably doesn't want tandem tactician. If you're a Storm Herald or Frenzy, or Frenzy's the class feature. What the fuck is the actual? Is it Berserker? It's the actual. Is it Path of the Berserker?
I think so. That's the one where you get exhaustion and shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Path of the
Wait,
Berserker.
did we lose a stream?
Shit, did we?
Like 26 times.
Wait, shit.
Internet.
No, we're good.
Would be good for Paladin or most casters.
Yeah. Yeah, any character who isn't starved for bonus actions, Tandem Tactician is just fucking primo. Let me just throw advantage all over the place.
And I feel like a lot of people don't utilize their bonus actions.
Yeah, there's a decent number of classes that just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Rangers,
Fucking
rogues.
How many classes actually get fucking shit, I forget the name of the rogue feature, damn it.
Cutting action.
Cutting action, damn it.
Yeah.
Cutting action grants you a bonus action, which you can use to do these
stupid.
things. Yeah, you can tell Rogue was the first class they wrote.
I don't know about the first, but the rules were definitely in flux when they wrote it.
So we actually got a fair amount of questions from the Discord about feats.
Okay,
so let's
cool.
go through those
Neat.
because it took us an hour to get through the UA. Spooter asked, do you think certain races should have the option to start with a feat like Variant Human?
So I kind of covered this a little bit earlier. I think that giving every class a feat at level 1 is a little bit overpowered, mostly because of the existence of half feats.
Yeah.
If you add on the rule that you're not allowed to have 18 in any stat at level 1, or you just say you're not allowed to pick a half feat at level 1, I don't think there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
So here's a little bit of D&D philosophy. There's no such thing as an overpowered party. Period.
Because you can adjust.
Because the DM can always make things harder.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to worry about is having an overpowered character. If one of the PCs is more powerful than the other PCs, and it's significant and noticeable, it's going to make the other players feel like shit. Like, why the fuck am I even playing the game? He's just going to kill everything for us. So he's just going to talk his way through every single roleplay encounter. He's just going to skip exploration for us.
Every wizard.
Yeah, Ragey McChopchop can handle 3 fucking enemies, and the other 3 parties are struggling, or 3 party members are struggling with the last guy. Like, if
like imagine being Happy Hogan in Iron Man 2 when Black Widow takes down an entire fucking hallway of dudes.
But he still helped.
No, he really didn't.
Yeah.
That dude's first name is weird.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Jordan asks, how do you feel about homebrew changes to Great Weapon Master and or Sharpshooter? Instead of a flat -5 to hit plus 10 damage, doing minus proficiency to hit plus proficiency times 2 to damage.
Yeah, so I've actually looked into that. The math is essentially meaningless. The end result is that on low AC enemies, you're gonna fucking use it. And on high AC enemies, you're gonna not fucking use it. It really doesn't...
Or you'll reckless and you'll always use it.
Or, that too. If you have advantage on every attack, just swing for the goddamn fences. Mechanically, minus proficiency sucks just sort of to think about. The easier way to think about it is forego your proficiency bonus. So instead of adding your proficiency to the attack roll, just don't. But I don't think that I have done the math on that exact scenario having the feat scale with proficiency bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Math is never meaningless. Take it back.
Says the math magician.
Yeah.
Math is for squares, like pants.
The math is not meaningless. The math indicates that the change is meaningless. Sorry, I misspoke. I don't remember exactly what the math came out to be, but I have actually done the math on switching it to proficiency and twice proficiency, and in the past decided not to do that. I don't remember why.
It also makes it feel not great at early levels. Like, yeah, I take a -2 for +4 damage.
Right. Yeah. I think with bounded accuracy, at lower levels, it is actually like super. It's super impactful even to just have that -2, because at lower levels you're more frequently at like a 50% or lower chance to hit, whereas in the mid to high levels you generally have like a 70 or even higher % chance to hit. So dropping from 80 to 55 isn't nearly as impactful as dropping from 50 to 25. But even if you're if you make that change, going from 50 to 40 is a 20% change in your accuracy for only 4 points of damage, and then a higher level is going from 70 to 50 is, oh god, don't make me do math. 28% chance, a 28% difference in accuracy for +10 damage, or +8 damage. It's like, it's a little bit more worth it at higher levels.
Yeah.
So picking the feat at lower levels just becomes meaningless, and I think it nerfs it too far into the ground.
Is there a feat that you think is missing from what's currently published? Is there a gap in something that you think needs to be filled or can be filled by a feat? Ask Bayless.
I think that Heavy Armor Master should not have medium armor proficiency as a prerequisite. And I don't think moderately armored should exist. I think if you want to be an armored class, you should just be able to take a feat. Because there's already so many stupid easy ways to get heavy armor. Literally put one level in cleric. Done. Heavy armor. I think the Heavy Armor Master should scale with proficiency. I don't know. What do you think, Mike? Has there ever been something you wanted to do with a character and it just wasn't possible that you think a feat could fill?
Probably, but offhand I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
There's tons of shit where it's like, man, if only, but
right.
Like there's only so much that the game is designed to actually handle, and then everything else is just fucking roll a d20.
Yeah.
You can't really cover every base.
Right, and you can't cover every single character concept, because some character concepts are just stupid powerful.
Hey man, I want to make Captain Marvel, let me.
I mean, multi-classing also fills in a hole too.
Yeah.
Like there are things that aren't feats that...
The problem with multi-classing is that you frequently feel... So like I was describing before, when you have one character who's just way better than everyone else, if you have a character who's just way worse than everyone else, that sucks. And it's very, very difficult to have a shitty character if you just stick to one class. But if you start multi-classing, it's really easy to accidentally make a shit character.
Yeah, let me fucking join the group with my Bard 2, Wizard 3, Fighter 9, fucking Cleric 6.
Yeah.
Someone built that. Is that even remotely good?
No. No.
I doubt you could even get enough ability scores to make that multi-class.
No. Yeah, you would have 5th level spell slots, but no spells higher than 3rd.
What I said was a joke.
What the fuck does Fighter 9 get you?
Fighter 9?
I just said numbers.
Yeah, I know. I want to see it fleshed out now because it was so off the top of
I think Fighter 9 is a
oh my god, stop.
Feature.
It was a joke.
Fighter 9 is indomitable. Easily the worst fighter feature.
Oh, wait, is that the one that's reroll a saving throw?
Yeah, once a day, re-roll a saving throw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't talk about puffin, Shadows.
Do you think any feats
You're
should
getting a
be
timeout for
race or
that.
class
No.
specific or always
jeez.
up for grabs?
Say it again?
Do you think any feats should be race or class specific or always up for grabs? Like, is there a prerequisite that shouldn't be there, or is there something that's way too overpowered that should be restricted?
Okay, I mean, there are literally racial feats in Xanathars.
Yeah.
So are you asking me if I think they should be racial?
I don't know, it's Bail's question, man.
Give everybody elven accuracy.
Oh my god! Stop. That's kind of a big question. Are there any published feats that you think are OP?
Of an accuracy.
I think Sean even answered that in the Discord.
Yeah.
Of an accuracy. Just
of an accuracy.
No?
By itself, elven accuracy is okay. It's once you start combining with other shit. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you're getting crit fishing, or a paladin, or fucking both at once. Like,
yeah, I was just gonna say,
God.
why not a crit fishing paladin?
Yeah.
Like, oh god, but just getting the triple advantage by itself, no other crazy bullshit to tack onto that. It's strong, but it's not overpowered, I would say.
I think what would have made elven accuracy balanced is needing two different sources of advantage to activate it, but that honestly would have made it worthless.
That would, yeah, garbage. Because, fuck.
Because how fucking often do you have two different sources of advantage?
Almost never.
Yeah.
Did you give
Yeah.
Shadows moderate?
For like half a second.
Why?
Because I was reaching for the timeout button, and apparently right next to timeout
Why are you
is
trying to time him out?
because he's talking about puffin. We don't talk about puffin.
Don't abuse that shit just because someone annoys you. You know, let it fucking time out them.
That's the point of timeout.
No!
That message by him is the best thing ever. I love it.
What?
Unlimited power.
Samus with flaming arms.
Unlimited power!
Power up left and power up right. Oh my god.
Is there any feats published that are just so fucking trash and underpowered that they never see the light of day?
Like half of them.
Yeah, elemental adept, skilled, linguist. Actually, skilled's kind of neat. I actually have that on a character.
I mean,
Linguist is fucking trash.
You take background.
You have it on a skill monkey character who is
Yeah.
bad at everything because she's good at everything, but now she's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That was a question from
She's
Jordan.
really good at everything, and she's a full caster, so fuck.
Fuck it.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of feats that just suck. Charger, athlete can be sort of okay,
What
but
the fuck does athlete do?
gives you +5 feet move speed. You only need 5 feet to long jump.